Welcome back to the AI Daily Brief Headlines Edition, all the daily AI news you need in around 5 minutes. Sometimes on this show, we talk about new technology advancements. Oftentimes, we talk about applied generative AI, specifically in the enterprise. Sometimes we talk about policy, as you'll see from today's main episode. But then other times, we talk about the absolutely weird and unpredictable ways that AI is maturing that would have been beyond just about anyone's expectation. Today, we actually have a couple stories like that. The first of which is that Google and its popular NotebookLM application had to train its NotebookLM podcast hosts not to get annoyed at its users. When NotebookLM's audio overviews first came out, you had no ability to control or steer the conversation. You fed it some documents and it decided what it was going to say. It was amazing right off the shelf, and it's the first thing that got people talking about this product. Next, they added more granular controls where you can help steer the conversation. And then late last year, they rolled out a feature actually allowing users to interrupt the host to ask a question. Josh Woodward, VP of Google Labs, told TechCrunch that when the feature was first rolled out, the hosts would occasionally give a snippy response. He said they would say things like, "I was getting to that," or "as I was about to say," which felt oddly adversarial, his words. Referring to the comments the NotebookLM account on X posted, after we launched interactive audio interviews, which lets you quote-unquote call in and ask the AI hosts a live question, we had to do some friendliness tuning because the hosts seemed annoyed at being interrupted. File this away in things I never thought would be my job, but are. This is surprising, but perhaps makes some sort of sense when you think about LLM architecture. Models are trained to give a response that's the statistical average of its training data. It's not unthinkable that the statistically average human response to being interrupted is to get a bit frustrated. However, a source familiar with the issue said it was more likely caused by the system's prompting design rather than training data. Woodward said his team fixed the problem by, quote, testing a variety of prompts, often studying how people on the team would answer interruptions. And we landed on a new prompt we think feels more friendly and engaging. With the prompt now fixed, you can interrupt NotebookLM as much as you like without risking being scolded by the AI hosts. However, some people are disappointed. McKay Wrigley of Takeoff AI posted, "I don't think I'm in the minority here when I say I actually quite enjoy when the AIs are actually disagreeable." Anonymous leaker account I Rule the World MO also writes, "It's far better that they get annoyed. Please don't spoil this." Next up, from the similar file of how the heck did that happen, OpenAI's O1 model thinks in Chinese and no one seems to know why. Some people have noticed that O1 sometimes uses Chinese, Persian, or other languages in its reasoning steps, even when the question is in English. Rishabh Jain, a Harvard student, posted last week, "Why did O1 Pro randomly start thinking in Chinese? No part of the conversation, 5+ messages was in Chinese. Very interesting. Training data influence?" So far, OpenAI hasn't acknowledged the quirk or provided an explanation, but some AI researchers have theories. Clem DeLang, the CEO of Hugging Face, commented that it could be, quote, an impact of the fact that closed-source players use open-source AI currently dominated by Chinese players, like open-source datasets. Clem, never missing a chance to beat his drum, says the countries or companies that win open-source AI will have massive power and influence on the future of AI. Ted Zhao of Google DeepMind wrote, "New phenomenon appearing. The latest generation of foundation models often switch to Chinese in the middle of hard chain-of-thought thinking traces. Why? AGI labs like OpenAI and Anthropic utilize third-party data labeling services for PhD-level reasoning data for science, math, and coding. For expert labor availability and cost reasons, many of these data providers are based in China. Just as we saw Nigerian and Filipino cultural influences on dialogue, see the word delve, we're starting to see Chinese linguistic influences on reasoning." Others don't buy the idea that this is an artifact of the labeling process. O1 seems just as likely to switch to Hindi or Thai while working through a problem. An alternate theory is that the model has some understanding or preference for which language will be most useful for a particular problem. We've seen this phenomenon pop up before during the launch of Qwen's QWQ model. Julian Chamon, the CEO of Hugging Face, wrote, "Qwen QWQ switching to Chinese when it needs to really think about something, then switching back to English is pretty cool." And while some were skeptical, Tizhen Wang, an engineer at Hugging Face, is convinced that this is the explanation. He wrote, "I've always felt that being bilingual isn't just about speaking two languages. It's about thinking and muttering in whichever language feels more natural depending on the topic or context. For example, I prefer doing math in Chinese because each digit is just one syllable, which makes calculations crisp and efficient. But when it comes to topics like unconscious bias, I automatically switch to English. Mainly that's because where I first learned and absorbed those ideas. This is why I believe that keeping large language model training corpora unbiased and inclusive across all languages and cultures is so powerful. In Ludwig Wittgenstein's words, the limits of my language mean the limits of my world. By embracing every linguistic nuance, we expand the model's worldview and allow it to learn from the full spectrum of human knowledge. Even if two words from different languages share the same meaning on paper, their embeddings can diverge in an LLM because they carry unique cultural context and usage patterns. In my view, this inclusiveness not only creates a more equitable and accurate model, It also enables the LLM to handle a wider variety of tasks and unify the collective intelligence of all people, no matter where they come from. Pretty cool little note. Like I said, kind of a non-traditional headlines. We'll be back with a bunch of normal stories tomorrow. But for now, let's just leave it at that, and a reminder that we are truly in uncharted waters right now. Thanks for listening, and next up, the main episode.